Sunday playoff game between the Cowboys and 49ers. I'm here joined by the usual suspects, Artie, Dalen, Ghost is here with us as well. And we got a couple of new friends to the show. We got Tom all the way out in Ireland. Thanks for joining us today for the late night. And we got I guess that's a Niners fan joining us here at the bottom of the screen. Here live in enemy territory. But everybody feeling good. Everybody ready to go. We got about an hour to
Hey,
go.
we see the OG with the Dallas jersey on.
We got some
Of
Dallas.
course.
That's all we care about right there. The OG got the right shirt on.
Nah, he tripping.
Yeah, man. How y'all boys feeling?
Better than I feel like I should feel. You know how I normally like
What's everybody's team?
I just said how y'all boys feeling. That's all. That's how y'all boys feeling.
Everybody in here likes the Cowboys?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, everybody.
it's just you, brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
gotta
on, you on an island.
Hey, I'm sorry, brother. It was a setup.
That show was a setup, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, it was targeted.
I'm not letting my man set me up, but that's just
I had no idea. I thought it was gonna be like, a little diversion. I'm saying maybe some Pittsburgh fans.
Hey, I'm in San Francisco, so if that helps you, like I'm in the area of San Francisco. That's all. Yeah, that's all you're getting here.
Okay,
I bet already told him it was a panel of players with fans of all different.
I did. I said, "Hey, me and my homeboys," but I ain't say who it was. So yeah, I just wanted to get somebody
I got
else.
everything I need to keep me comfortable right now. If it ain't me, I'm with it.
I feel like.
Everything
All right.
by far.
Let's get into let's get into this football game. I think we got to start off by rehashing last year. Of course, 49ers walked into Dallas, knocked them off 23-17 in the wild card round, and now the rematches come again. Similar to the early 90s, we get another Cowboys-Niners performance. It's the playoff game our fathers told us about back in the day. Now we get to see the matchup for ourselves. Let's start with the Cowboys inactives today. We got Peyton Hendershot, Jason Peters, Will Greer, Jabril Cox, Nashawn Wright, Jalen Tolbert, and Quentin Bohanna will not be playing today. So I think is what Neville Gallimore's in the lineup today. I think that's a big difference.
Boom! He's sucks. He's trash. He's trash.
Whoever the 49ers inactives are, I don't know. This is a Cowboys show. If the 49ers fan want to get those in, he can go ahead and figure that out.
Inactives for them, bro. Don't do him like that.
Look, I'm getting ready to get my information up in a second because I realize I'm by myself.
It's all right, bro. One day,
Oh man, that's so funny.
I'm gonna get my homie on her. He a Ravens fan. I ain't gonna let you
This dude's really taking it in stride.
Oh, you finna invite one, homeboy?
I'm loving this.
You finna? I bet, Dylan. I bet. That way we got a neutral person. We got so everybody. We got Cowboys representation. And we got one neutral person.
I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. One day though. Let me get the Baltimore fan on her. Let me get one day.
Hey, as long as his accent not retarded, then we straight.
Nah, he's cool. He actually.
You know how Boston people talk.
Nah, he's cool. He's cool.
So the 49ers only have 7 players that are out inactive for today's game. Obviously, QB Jimmy Garoppolo out for the season. We got Henry Thomas, Tyron Davis-Price, Nick Zakelli, Tyler Kroft, and Alex.
Good to see Tyler Kroft still hanging around in the league. Yeah, I was like, I ain't know Tyler Kroft is still hanging around.
Whatever, so
All right, now that we got the formalities out of the way, we can talk about how did we feel going to this game on Sunday. Niners fan, y'all beat the Seahawks last week. What was it 41-23? Although the Seahawks were in the red zone with a chance to get the lead in the fourth before they completely fell apart and the Niners pulled away. How do you feel about that performance, and how does that performance give you confidence going into this week?
Well, overall, I would say just generally looking at our defense, I feel like, if you're looking for the majority of the game, the only points really came in the second quarter, and then obviously their last little thing. But I would say, obviously, overall, watching the game, I really like the way our defense played. I really think the offense had to settle down, and as you see in the first half, kind of back and forth, and have they kind of put it on and got it going. Now, personally, if the offense just gets in the rhythm, the offensive line holds, the defense does what it's been doing all year, we shouldn't have too many problems on the field. And that's just like a general outlook, not depth.
Hey, that's fire. All right,
All right, but and then over to the other side, Cowboys beat the Bucks 31-14 last week on Monday. Niners get an extra 2 days of rest. I don't think that has to be pointed out going into this Sunday matchup. How did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, 8-9 football team, obviously a little bit of upgrade and challenge this week. But what do you think the Cowboys can carry over from that Bucks victory into this game on Sunday afternoon?
I'll start. Like I said on the stream on Monday, I felt like Dak was going to show the world that he's a top 4 quarterback in the league, and I think he showed that and some. Just his ability to just slice up that defense like it was like raw chicken was just crazy. And the defense showed up, bro. Like we said in the chat, like we needed Micah to hit that switch that Kobe Bryant had, that switch that Michael Jordan had, that switch that LeBron had, where those elite athletes can just turn that switch and show up when their team needs the most. And he did that. I think he had like 4 or 5 pressures on Brady alone, like 3 pass breakups. That's crazy for an edge/linebacker. And then just guys stepping up like Israel Mukuamu playing the game of his life when he was missing in action all year long. You know what I'm saying? J-Ron Curse playing the game of his life when we needed him most. It was just all around just a beautiful effort from start to finish, and I was like so proud of the team for not only taking control of the game but choking the team out. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna pick it up. I mean, the Tampa game it gave Cowboys fans a lot of confidence, and it was something that especially on the defensive side that I felt like that we needed. We trying to make Tom Brady a family man. He clearly still don't want to be no family man, but yeah, you needed that confidence. It was, even with the offense again, it was what was it, the first 2 possessions, 3 and out. You see the defense they held, and that gets into a rhythm. He was on fire, manipulated everybody. He knew what was coming. He's been here before. Extremely efficient. No turnovers, no unlucky turnovers either. We can appreciate that from a Dak game. We're gonna need that confidence again, especially on defense, because I don't fear Brock Purdy. Respectfully, I don't fear Brock Purdy, but Shanahan up here, good lord. It's just Shanahan.
Yeah.
Shanahan is a god tier play caller. He will make a baby walrus look like Aaron Rodgers. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but he is like that as a play caller.
Look, and to mention the head play caller matchup we got going on, got Shanahan and then Dan Quinn. They together in Atlanta.
That's the matchup of the day.
Excellent point. Segway Jones, excellent point.
That's a good chess game matchup we got going on. And Shanahan's creative with the offense. We're going to see. It's going to be a great game, guaranteed. One season that everybody's going to be talking about.
Hell yeah.
And in terms of last
week, go ahead.
In terms of last week, when I've seen a lot of classic Cowboys this season. May have gone back and forth about the difference between adversity and maybe just and last week, to me, they showed a level of preparation that they never quite should 6 years. They went in and they actually had a game plan. I know Kellen likes usually and try to get into it, and I think the way he tries to feel out generally puts us in a bit of a hole, and then it forces Dak to press. Last week it was, look, no matter what happens, we're going to let Dak throw the routes he wants to throw. We're going to let Dak make the calls at the line however we need to. And different, they look smarter. And I also don't held stuff back for the playoffs, which means they've been thinking about it. They weren't worried about 3. They weren't worried about catching the Eagles. They were worried about winning playoff games and pull it off one more week. They got to find a way to translate coming in starting down 14 points.
Tom?
Ghost, you done?
Yep, on to Tom.
All right, I got it.
Tom, you can go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose last week, didn't really think was going to turn up like the Cowboys team that playoffs or the one dominant against the Vikings earlier in the season. It was just refreshing to see like a complete game apart from Maher, obviously. I've just seen he's been getting a pep talk from Jerry Jones warm up, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, my boy LVE balling out back and elevating the defense, and yeah, normally I don't know. Normally come playoff time, I kind of just expect Cowboys fan. You expect the come down, so it's nice to finally see them actually, put the nail in the coffin last week. They got up early in this season when they've got up. You've just been waiting for something bad and didn't happen last week. It was great. So more of that, please.
Some more of that, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we had a great segue before we wrapped up the last week's feelings. Shanahan versus Dan Quinn. So, Jay, you got all the toys. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. It goes on and on and on. You can even talk about Ray McLeod or Jawan Jennings. Shanahan will use everybody. Elijah Mitchell. Who do you think is the most important guy for your offense to get the victory today?
One more time, who do I think is the most what guy?
Important player on your offense for y'all to get the victory today.
I'm going to be real. I'm going to say I think the most important player on our offense really is person you didn't name, and that's Purdy. I believe that it really comes down to the QB play to get any of these tools unlocked because he's not really, doing his job in terms of managing the game, making good, smart, safe, considerate passes, but also knowing when to win. I think that would be something big. But outside of Purdy, I would say also you gotta get Deebo Samuel involved. Definitely gotta get Deebo Samuel involved. But like you said, we have a lot of options. So I say really just Purdy really is for him to distribute the ball evenly to get everybody involved and get everybody going. Once we got everybody going, it's like anyone can go, but we gotta get them going. So I really think it starts and begins with Purdy, and that's my answer.
Absolutely, pressure's on
That's
the
actually
7th round QB.
Go ahead,
I'd
Gus. Go ahead.
actually like to tap in after him because that speaks to something that I've been, which is now, Jay, don't take this as any sort of shot at Deebo because they're straight up superstars. But my issue isn't shutting them down, fully just take them out of the game, especially all three. So for me, you need to attack Shanahan's scheme. Shanahan wants to make Purdy roller point and shoot, point and shoot, point and shoot. The Cowboys need to they need to disrupt the Cowboys space. I mean, they need to disrupt the Niners space, forced to make his own decisions. You want him to hold it a second longer and think, well, I can make this throw. I can hit this touchdown. That you want them in his pocket, so you constantly keep him inside. Let him think in time, but that he can't roll out. And that's going to leave an extra second or two. Going to let our linebackers and safeties disrupt the space that Kyle Shanahan creates, that everyone can take away some of those easy touches. Make Deebo have to break 7 tackle touchdown.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about this 49ers offense is the guy who gets most of the easy touches, the guy who gets most of the touches on the team, and that's McCaffrey. That's CMC. I think he's priority number one. That's public enemy number one in Dallas, Texas today is Christian McCaffrey because he makes that whole thing go. The Niners had, like you saw last year, the Niners offense was very mediocre. This year, the offense was up and down a little bit, but when they added in CMC, they really haven't been held under 30 since then because he makes everything go with his ability to play every single position on the field. You can hand it off to him. You can run screens to him. Whatever you got to do to get that gets Brock Purdy going. It gets the offense in a rhythm because you're not creating negative plays when Christian McCaffrey has the football in his hands. In the end, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, those guys only go touch the ball a certain amount of times. CMC is liable to touch 25, 30 times if you allow him to do it. I think the game plan has to be when he's out there on the field, that's the guy you're keyed in on. If he's at receiver, you're treating him like if Diggs got to take that matchup, Diggs got to take that matchup. That's how you treating this guy. It can't be, Leighton can take care of it, Mukwamo can take care of it.
No.
It's got to be where McCaffrey is lined up. That's where the ball is going the majority of the time. That's who they like to use as their lead dog. I think you got to make sure you limit his impact. He's going to get the ball too much to get shut down, but you got to limit his ability to go for 150, 200 scrimmage yards.
There's a reason, Moody, that since they traded for McCaffrey, they haven't lost a game.
No, they lost to Kansas City, but after that, they haven't lost since.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a reason Kansas City haven't lost a game.
It was like 40-20, and that personally, honestly, was one of the worst games the defense played. I mean, we're 11.
They're going against Pat Mahomes. So
it's not out of Mahomes out here, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we lost to them in the Super Bowl, so that was supposed to be the rematch.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't even count that against y'all, bro. Pat Mahomes shreds everybody. So.
Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes.
But like I was about to say though, so McCaffrey, right? Like we talk about him touching the ball as a back, right? That's the thing. He's not just a back like Moody was saying. Like this is a guy that can be split outside as a wide receiver and run gangster routes. Like dude is a nuke on the field. At any point, he can take it to distance from any position. He could be at the slot. He could be outside as like an X. He could be in the backfield. He could be doing jet sweep motion things. Like dude is such a mismatch. And we don't really have anybody on our team that can really cover him one-on-one. So we're gonna have to manufacture that. We're gonna have to find a way to rally to him, have some kind of game plan for him. Because if not, he could absolutely beat us by himself. He's that good of a football player.
Hey man, I'm a piggyback off what y'all said. Like I said, there's a reason why. What was it? I think it was Wesley Wood. There's a viral clip all over the TikTok, Twitter. It's Wesley Wood saying Christian McCaffrey cooked everybody in the Tennessee Titans training camp, like back when he was like a rookie or second-year player, something like that. He's just like that, and he really is a game changer. So you have to figure out a way to mitigate his impact. I would focus my game plan short and intermediate. So I would take away McCaffrey and Kittle. Because, I think if you get it going short, I think Kittle just kills you over the middle of the field. And on top of that, so I'd prefer to take Kittle and McCaffrey away. I think Debo would get his touches. It's a matter of you got to make sure you just tackle him and bring him down. But other than that, I mean, I think it's McCaffrey, Kittle, and then everybody else.
Yeah. Tom, you want to get in there? Or are you straight?
I don't know if I have anything to add. I suppose on the flip side, for Dallas, you're looking to exploit that O-line, get pressure on Purdy. So I don't know. I actually feel like the San Francisco O-line is like important because I mean, if you've got the Dallas D-line teeing off on Purdy all day, we'll see what happens.
We was gonna get to that.
That's a beautiful transition because I think that's the prime time matchup of this game. Like the San Francisco defense is great, Dak Prescott's great, but those aren't. It's about the Dallas defense versus the San Francisco offense. That's really what the big time matchup is today because those have the best players on the field, and the biggest one, Micah Parsons, Trent Williams, going at it on each side of the field. Although if it was me, Trent Williams would never see a snap against Micah Parsons, but not everybody wants to play that way. But looking into that, for the Cowboys defense, who's the most important player on our side of the football? Who's the most important player lining up for our 11 on defense for Dan Quinn that can help slow down this embarrassment of riches that San Francisco's playing with on offense?
Go ahead, Dylan.
I feel like your most important player turns out to be, I think it's still your two safeties. I think it's Curse, I think it's Mukwamo. I think if they both play the way that they did, because they're probably going to see a lot of Debo, McCaffrey, Ayuk maybe. Like they're going to see a multitude of dudes in the nickel. So you need that length because Purdy's got to be accurate. And, as good as Purdy's been playing, he's been a little shaky here and there. So if you can get him off his spot, kind of trying to get him to extend some plays, force him to throw it into some tight lanes, I think you get a bunch of PBUs and you play just like you did against Tampa.
So I'm gonna. Tom gave me a good transition about the pass rush. Well, I agree with Dalen. Are the key. I'm gonna list Micah because I think this is a game that you need to manufacture.
Yeah,
I'm not putting Micah on Trent Williams alone because what's the point? Why even waste them out? The only time he's seeing them is if Dan Quinn is willing to finally play games. He's been moving Micah last week after an 8-week lull where the defense sort of themselves. I think this is a game where, like I said, you want to force Purdy to try deep. You can get deep well. I actually don't like Debo on deep. If it's my offense, I prefer Debo to have the ball in his hands and a head of steam. You want Tank and Dorrance to create and manipulate pocket space. This is a game where you're telling Micah, Fowler, Sam, maybe Osa, you are the ones that need to get home because we need to create a false pocket for Purdy. We need to be this deep ball game. And you don't necessarily have to have a dominant pass rush hand. For me, everything is about trying to outsmart him, and that's the most difficult task.
Yeah, I'm going to cheat over here a little bit. I'm going to say the second level defenders. So we'll talk, whether that be the corners lined up in that section, whether it be the nickel back, whether it be Mukamu or Bland, linebackers, it's those guys. Because where Shanahan lives is 15 yards and in. That's where he could create space like nobody's business in a very short field of distance. And in that scenario, that's how he creates his offense and gets all that yak and stuff. We have to be able to tackle. We have to be able to squeeze those zones, those passing lanes, make Purdy throw the ball over our heads. If he's throwing deep balls at Trayvon Diggs, if he's throwing deep balls at Malik Hooker, if he's throwing deep balls at Deron Bland or whoever's lined up on the outside, I feel okay with that matchup. Because that means Debo's not trying to make people miss. That means Christian McCaffrey not out there trying to make people miss. That means these guys are playing traditional quarterback, traditional receiver, and that's how you make their team more normal. This is not a normal team. They play a very unique way. And if you allow them to play that unique style, they're going to beat you playing their way. But if you make them play regular football, if you make Brock Purdy play regular quarterback instead of I get to do whatever I want because these toys are just so incredible I can't fail, that's how you make their offense a little more normal and a little more defendable.
Yeah, for me, I would say the key person on defense is basically whoever's matched up on Debo, because even though I want to like choke out CMC and make him a non-factor in the game, I would also like to limit Debo as well, because Debo is one of those type of players that could really like win the game. Like literally last year, Dak throws a pick, and the very next thing that happens is Debo takes a 21-yard run to the house for a touchdown.
Ball game, honestly.
Yeah, and it essentially ended the game. So you can't allow big chunk plays like that. He's a dynamic player. He can get the ball from anywhere, just like CMC. So we're gonna have to pay attention to that. And if it was me, I would put Diggs on him. I trust Diggs to be able to cover Debo. But at the same time, Diggs has shown this year he's been an inconsistent tackler. So we kind of playing with ourselves at that point. Like everybody's gonna have to rally to get him on the ground. So yeah, it's a tough matchup for sure.
It always is. All right, and then on the flip side of San Francisco, Jay, y'all defense filled with talent at all three levels. Going against the Cowboys offense that's been really, really good in the past few weeks of the season. How do y'all match up? What do y'all think y'all most important defensive player is to slowing down the Cowboys offense?
I think I would say our I would say we have two. We got Fred Warner, number one linebacker in the middle, holding down the middle. That's kind of our captain defensive. And then we got Nick Bosa coming off the edge. And I think if both of those two players really have their typical impact in the game, the typical 49er fashion, even if, say, for example, y'all's defense is really like smothering Purdy, not really offensive game. I feel like our defense is strong enough as long as those two players need to kind of keep the game in check in terms of like the scoring outbursts. So I would say Fred Warner in the middle, Nick Bosa coming off the edge. Our two players definitely needed to be in sync today to get us a win.
Let me ask him this real quick. So how do you because we was talking about before you got here. How do you feel about Lenore, your other outside cornerback, 38? How do you feel about him? Honestly, how do you feel about him?
You know me. What was the question? Sorry.
No, you're good. I said, how do you feel about Lenore, your other cornerback on the other side from Tardavius Ward? How do you honestly feel about him as a player?
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes our corners be acting a little shaky because if you watched against Seattle last week, Metcalf got a few of them over the top, or if it wasn't over the top, it was a pass call. So I was just like, really, I'm feeling a little shaky about it at times. But Metcalf that's a big dude. You know what I'm saying? One-on-one Metcalf, anyone gonna struggle. You know what I'm saying? That's a big. But really, I feel that the play in the first game last week was a little shaky. But once again, like I said, they gotta get in sync too. So.
Okay.
I don't know where this question came from, and I expect this to be a pretty clean sweep across the board, but I'll ask it anyway. Who would we rather have? San Francisco Terrell Owens or Dallas Cowboys prime Dez Bryant?
T.O. all day, no question. I don't even think about it.
I can't. Dez, I love you, bro, and it's an honor that you even get to be in this conversation.
Dalen, you already know what I'm finna say.
But it's T.O.
Dalen, you already know what I'm finna say.
Go ahead and say it.
Go ahead, say it.
Go ahead and say it. Let it out.
Me personally, I'm just playing. I'm taking T.O.
San Fran T.O. is the third or fourth best receiver of all time.
T.O. was a menace too. He was a menace.
Fighting Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, he's a menace. He's slamming the ball down the star.
Yeah, I would just get ready down the star.
No, that's literally the only right answer. It's T.O. It's T.O.
Glad we got that out the way. All right, we got about 25 minutes until kickoff. I'm assuming we'll say Tom would have said T.O. as well. I don't think that would have been a competitive one either. But here it is. Game predictions. Cincinnati just knocked off Buffalo to go to the AFC Championship game. 75% of championship weekend is set. There's only one more game to go. Dallas Cowboys, 49ers. Who do y'all have?
I'm gonna go first.
It's obvious Jake can go first because we know who you.
I'm gonna go first because I'm the only 49er fan here. I'm gonna be realistic. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say 31-24 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
31-24.
Covering too, huh?
My brother. You gotta give us why, my brother. You gotta give. Yeah. Give us why you think y'all will win. You don't gotta tell the whole story of the game, but just tell us why you think they will win and stuff like that. Yeah.
I think the reason why I think that we were gonna win, and it's not a question, it's gonna happen. That just to put that out there. However, just being real, I'll say just because I feel like our offensive line and the way that Mike Shanahan can really scheme. My bad, not Mike, Kyle, but the way that they can scheme, the way our players can get open, and then really like the way our offense flows to where Purdy can be comfortable. As long as that's good, but it starts with the offensive line. As long as our offensive line is holding, which I feel like it will, scheme the players to how they should be. Purdy gets out and he's mobile. The way that's the key difference for our offense. He's mobile, get the ball to our skilled impact players and keep it going. And defensively, I just feel like our defense is really just flawless. Like we're not perfect, obviously, but our impact, the way that we are, our impact players really impact the game and keep it low scoring. Because if you looked at a lot of our games this year, we won a lot of our games kind of like 13-10, for example, just low scoring defensive football. So even if the offense doesn't get going, I still have faith in our defense as the backbone because, as they say, defense wins championship. Always.
Absolutely.
So I'll go next then. I agree with a lot of what he said. Concerns me about the way he creates space and the way he can create quick scores. I'm gonna ride with Dak. Last week was a different Dak. This is a Dak we've seen unlock it on command like that. and that really excited me. If you get and even a 40% better Dak than last year, take this game. The Niners are better. We're probably less than we were last year, but we're better in a lot of places. And I think they have a plan that I didn't buy into before. I'm actually going to take the Cowboys, and I'm going to take them at 31-24.
Ooh, I like that.
All right.
I
Swim the scores, flip them up.
I
Same
think
score.
you're getting a really good, and I think this is a game that, while you'll never hear me give Kellen more credit, they know what Lamb has to do to put up some points, and I think that I think the big Lamb game, I think he might shake loose for a touchdown or two. It's just it's over the top and a normal, back and forth game.
For me, well, I think it's actually an advantage that we lost that game last year, and I think you can hear it in the way that the entire roster has spoken. Like everybody knows the Cowboys pretty much changed their team up because of how they lost that game last year, because they felt like they were in a position to go make a Super Bowl run last year. 49ers spoiled it. They give up Amari Cooper, Lyle Collins, Randy Gregory walks out the door, and they go, it's like, no, we're gonna go physical, we're gonna go young, we're gonna go cheap, we're gonna make sure we have a stronger foundation for the future, instead of really believing that this team was ready to capable of winning. Well, now you're back here again in the same position that you were in last year. I think the team didn't come out as seriously last year in the playoffs. I think a lot of things going on inside the locker room mentally with the way the season ended. This seems a little bit different. They seem a little bit more confident going into a big game. The way they performed against Tampa Bay last week, I think, spoke volumes to how this team is now, and we need that team to show up. We need that coaching staff to show up. I'll take the Cowboys 27-24. I think it's all about Michael Parsons and the defense. I think if you are able to make Brock Purdy outplay Dak Prescott, that's really what you have to do. You have to make Brock Purdy participate in this football game. It can't just be Kyle Shanahan living vicariously through Brock Purdy and running the offense. It's got to be Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, 7th round rookie, trying to outduel our quarterback, the best quarterback of Wild Card Weekend, and he needs to go out there and have a similar performance this week. So yeah, I'll take the Cowboys 27-24. This is going to be a close, stressful game throughout, but it's about time. And it's about time for us to go to a place that we haven't seen for everybody here's lifetime.
Go ahead, Twin.
I'm gonna take a closer, less stressful game. The games that I don't like, the high scoring ones. I'm gonna go 35-31 Cowboys. I think I'm a defensive dude. I hate high scoring games. I can't stand them. I just think Shanahan's too good of a play caller for you to necessarily stop them. I think you just have to outscore them. And then on top of that, I think the defense can clutch you up a few good stops. I think if they can clutch you up some key stops just here and there, you need maybe 2-3 real good key stops. And again, forcing Purdy if you force Purdy to participate, then the game they're not scoring 30. But I'm gonna say that Shanahan just prevails Purdy again, and I'm gonna just go 35-31 Cowboys. High scoring, stressful game. Hate it, but the Cowboys still come out.
All right, y'all. Last week I accurately predicted that Dak was gonna play the game of his life. This time. One thing that us as Cowboy fans have been saying all year and kind of since last year was, instead of feeding, Ezekiel Elliott, you have to feed Tony. And I'm not saying he's going to get like 25 carries or nothing like that, but I expect him to get over 20 touches, and really just bust this game open. Jay, much love to you, bro. Much respect to your team, but I don't think there's anybody on your team that can cover Tony Pollard. Period. I mean, Fred Warner's elite. I like Greenlaw, but Tony Pollard is different, bro. And I think that we're going to use him early and often. I think we're going to use him not only as a back on the little stretch zones. We're also going to use him as a receiver. Like he's going to pull a McCaffrey today. So yeah, I'm feeling good about that. Also love my matchup outside with Chardavius Ward and Lenore versus Lamb and Gallup and T.Y. Hilton. I love those matchups. I think that it's going to be a game where Dak will play good, but not as good as Tampa. But I think it won't matter. I think he'll play good enough. I think the real reason why we'll win is actually the defense.
Yes.
I just have a feeling. I've had this feeling all week that it's gonna be a sad day. You know, the same way that you guys punched us in the mouth last year. I think we're coming to get our lick back. I think we're coming to snatch our chain back. I think we're coming to, take over your trap, whatever the little kids say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just what I see. I'm gonna take the Dallas Cowboys 30-24. I think it's gonna come down to the final drive. I think 49ers are gonna try to drive and score for 6. And I think we're gonna get a stop. We're gonna win the game, and we're gonna go to the NFC Championship game. So, yeah, I'm going 30-24 the boys, and yeah, we came back for our lick, and we getting it back.
All right, here it is. Game time starts in about 15 minutes. Appreciate everybody who decided to join for this one. This the matchup our fathers used to tell us about. These are the ones that we've always imagined. We've always been told, like, oh man, Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin. Well, now we got Debo, and we got Dez, and we got Dak, and we got Christian McCaffrey, and we got. This should be the best game of the weekend, I think. Mostly because the other 3 games have been complete washes. So here we go. Hopefully we get a really, really good football game here. Appreciate Jay for joining us in enemy territory. He really knew his stuff. Hope we can have him back again after they take this L. Let's go.
Hey, and if y'all do basketball, bro, I'll get off of the NBA too. I'm a Laker fan.
Hey, you know what it is. You know what it
Moody,
is.
he does some. You should check out Moody's YouTube right now.
I got you.
Yeah. Hey, Moody got a channel called All We Do Is Talk. They do basketball there. So yeah, tap in with Moody after the show. But thanks everybody for joining. Yeah. Go Cowboys, have a blessed day.
Hey, go 49ers. Big 49ers.
Let's get that money, baby. Let's take them down.